Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome to my recap of Season 2, Episode 4 of Insecure. Issa shows up at Molly's apartment. Kelly is already there pre-gaming. Molly, for whatever reason, is not dressed. Kelly says she's been waiting a while. Now you give me a time to show up, I'm going to come 15 to 20 minutes later. And if I show up and you're still in your bathrobe, I'm leaving. Best friend or no. I'm going to tell you to meet me at the spot. I'll just roll solo. No hard feelings, but I'm not going to sit there and wait for you all day to get dressed. Luckily, Molly was very close to getting dressed. She threw on a very cute number, and then they rolled out to Kiss and Grind. Now, from what I saw, Kiss and Grind looks very similar to Everyday People, which I'm very familiar with. Shout out to the homie Ro Black. I'm pissed that it is a real party and my LA friends have never taken me there. And by y'all, I mean Nicole, Brianna, Amanda, Patrina, Christy, Alicia, all of y'all. Somebody could have said, hey D, why don't you stay the weekend? Why don't we go to Kiss and Grind? Nobody's ever done that. I have personal face-to-face words for you that I'm learning about this lovely event via a TV show and not because y'all took me. Issa says she's meeting up with some guy at the party. It's the guy who matched with her on Tinder at the end of last week's episode. Remember how I thought the guy, Felix, was Molly's coworker? I was dead wrong. I don't know how I looked at the screen and saw the man who appeared this week as Felix, Molly's coworker. I don't understand why Issa's meeting with this man at a party. I hate to be cliche, but you don't take sand to the beach. Like, she's not just going for the date with this guy. She's clearly going to meet new men because she says as much. And she's like, oh, I'm trying to fuck. Issa, you're a bad hoe, honey. You need to sit down. You need to take a minute because you everywhere and going nowhere. And Molly calls her out. She's like, ma'am, you're 40% too pressed. Fall back. Oh, and Kelly, we get Kelly in bits and pieces. We haven't had an episode where Kelly is heavy in the mix in a long time. And I didn't realize what a blessing that is because I don't like Kelly. The second she poured out Molly's wine, I was like, oh no, we can't be friends. I don't even drink, but I don't believe in the abuse of alcohol. And throwing out quality wine is abusive. And she does some other stuff. That last part of the episode, girl, me and you would never go out. Not ever again. They have a table. They feel fancy. Their table is way in the back where no one can see them off the dance floor. That's the worst place to be. You want to be closest to the bar or the dance floor because that's where all the traffic is and you can see the movement of the people. You would actually be better off standing somewhere. They're hanging out at the table. Some chicks come by and try to have a seat. Ma'am, you know you didn't buy no table. You're not going to come back here and lounge comfortable on my dime. Go sit at a guy's table. Guys will let girls come sit. You going to sit at a table with a bunch of other women? For what? Molly's friend from high school and last week at the cupcake shop, Dro, comes over. He says his wife is at a retreat for the weekend, so he's there solo. He's got some food at his table. So Molly's like, deuces. She goes over to hang out with him. They hang out for a bit. They're reminiscing about high school and who wore what and who did this. Molly's song comes on. They take it to the dance floor. And it's real cute and playful. It's old high school buddies at first. But then Molly starts backing it up on him. It is just a dance. But even Molly feels a little uncomfortable when she's doing a little too much to slow motion. And she's like, hey, I want to respect your marriage. And he's like, really, there's no need because we have an open marriage. Personally, I will not practice an open marriage. However, I respect what other grown folks consensually choose to do. I don't quite get the whole open marriage thing, but if that is your choice, let me remove the plank from my own eye. Let me sweep around my own front door. I ain't got time to be worried about your house. But Molly is very confused. She's like, I don't understand. I thought they had the perfect relationship. Issa's like, I thought open relationships were some white shit. Well, no. I wrote this article for Essence years ago about open relationships and the swinger scene. Black folks be in that heavy. Black people might not talk about it as openly, but yes, it's a whole lot of black folks in willing, actual open relationships. Issa spots Daniel in the crowd at the party. He is snackalicious. That is a beautiful, beautiful man. A god among mere mortals. Issa sees him. She freaks out. She goes and tells Molly. Molly was like, okay, so what do you want to do? Okay, you're not leaving. How are you handling this? Because I need to judge my level of sobriety. I came to party, but I'm going to curtail my drinking in order to support you and your bad decisions. Friendship goals. Issa says she's going to go talk to Daniel. Instead of catching him when he's walking across the floor by himself or when he's standing at the bar, she rolls up on him when he's chit-chatting with friends. They have, to be expected, the most awkward situation ever. It's the first time she's seen him since she dissed the hell out of him after they slept together, which is when she cheated on Lawrence. Daniel comes to her big event for her job and she's like, yeah, you were an itch I needed to scratch. And he didn't do her dirty, so there was really no reason for her to treat him like that. To credit, he handles it really well. He's like, hey, the past is the past. It's months ago. He doesn't bark on her. He was like, well, it's good to see you. Be well. And then he turns back to his friends like Issa was never there. Later, Issa meets up with the guy from Tinder. That just starts off awkward. He's like, your hair was different. And she's like, oh, I changed it. And he was like, can you change it back? Red flag. She keeps talking. He's like, is your voice always like that? She should just turned around and just walked off. He ain't a bit more interested. Like, that was painful. And what made it more painful is it seemed like Daniel saw the whole thing and laughed at her. The dude you played just watched you get played. Like, you thought you had a little clout. You were like, oh, I got options. Not like you thought you did. The girls hang out at the party until nightfall. Kelly says she met a boo. She wants the girls to go with her to the diner afterward. They're headed out and Molly's like, I'll catch up with y'all in a second. She sees Dro and she goes over to talk to him. He's like, what you about to do? He's like, okay, what you doing after that? They have a very non-committal, very gray area, rife with possibilities conversation. Even though Molly told the girl she wasn't interested in Dro, like very adamantly. She's like, he's married, but you over here talking to him anyway. You could have just kept walking and let it be that. But Molly, you've been doing really well, and I've been really proud of you. You've been making much better decisions this season. This ain't a good decision. Like, it's one thing if he's in an open marriage and you're down for that, but you're not okay with that. And the other thing I thought, dude was like, yeah, we're in an open marriage. And the first thing I wondered, does his wife know that? Because the number of dudes who be like, oh yeah, I'm single. Ask them, does somebody else call you her man? Well, okay, you're not really single, bruh. At the restaurant, the guy Kelly was talking to all night but can't remember his name. She calls him Sweetie. He saves seats for the girls. They order some food. Kelly is on full 10. Issa spots Daniel sitting at a table across from her. They make eye contact but don't really say anything. Molly gets a text from Dro. He wants to know what's good. She at first types to him that maybe she'd like some company, and then she backs it up and is like, you know what? I'm tired. I have to travel later this week. Good answer. Good answer. It's not an ending. It's not a final no, but I'm proud of you in the moment, Molly. Baby steps. This is how it starts. You say no once, it gets easier going forward. Issa's sitting there by herself, just looking lonely and lost. Kelly is kikiing with dude, and she asks him some random question about what he would cook for her, and then she all of a sudden stops. I thought Kelly was about to throw up. And I'm saying to the screen, like, Issa, scoot over. Issa, scoot over. Never in my wildest dreams did I think she was sitting at the dinner table with a bunch of people getting finger popped by a she just met. That blew my mind. Me and Kelly would never be out again ever. I probably wouldn't speak to her ass after that. And you could call me judgmental. You could call me a bad friend. Look, I don't care what you do with your cho-cha. I do not police other women's vaginas. But if you got the unmitigated gall to sit at the table with me and let a dude put his finger up in you while I'm sitting next to you, we're done. Now, you want to go out to the club and you want to be on the other side of the room, that ain't my business. You want to go out with dude by yourselves or one-on-one, y'all want to get it on at the table, that's between you and your moral God. You want to go in the bathroom while I'm present and get it popping, it's a little awkward, but as long as there's Wi-Fi, I will occupy myself. But you're going to sit at the table? Amoral and unsanitary. Man, what the are you doing? And Issa didn't know what was going on. Daniel spotted it and had to text her like, hey, do you know what's happening? This is what's happening. I was shocked. I would have walked out the restaurant and called an Uber. But Issa, she just picks up her waffle and she goes across the way and she sits with Daniel. And I think that says a lot about Issa and Daniel, and that there's more to them than just what happened in the studio, and also how Issa treated him. They have a long history where there was a mutual respect, a mutual interest, and a friendship. I'm glad to see that it mended. I'm interested to see where that storyline goes. I don't necessarily want Issa with Daniel right now, but I don't think he's a bad guy. Lawrence, child, financially, he's doing much better. Emotionally, his decisions stay otherwise. He's supposed to hook up with Chad. They're going to pregame and do whatever. Chad is going to get some good weed. Lawrence is going to get some liquor on his way to the grocery store, which I think is hilarious. You go to the grocery store to buy liquor. He gets pulled over by a cop who first seems run-of-the-mill. Like, he's He's not friendly, but he's not evil. And then he takes Lawrence's license and registration, and I guess Lawrence got too comfortable. He yells to Lawrence to keep his hands where he can see them, and he has his hand on his gun when he says it. Obviously, Lawrence is terrified. The cop comes back to the car and is like, oh, I'm going to let you off as a warning, even though I shouldn't because you're a Hoya. Like, as a black person, you go out into the world knowing that people see you're black first. Your degrees, your education, your pedigree, where you're from, how you were raised. Like, people don't see that. They just see black man, black woman, and whatever ideas they have about blackness, they just place on you. So I'm very surprising how the officer saw Lawrence's degree as making him and Lawrence more like-minded. That was just so weird to me. Things like that have happened to me. And it's like, but wait, like, I wasn't just like you without the degree. It gives you a huge mind. Speaking of fucking, Lawrence goes to the grocery store. He didn't realize that his card fell out his wallet when he was giving the officer his license. And he's standing in line with $46 worth of beer that he can't pay for. Two chicks in line behind him, a blonde Asian chick and a white chick, are like, oh, we'll pay for your beer. Let me say this to black men. I'm not paying for $46 worth of beer. You would have to take $36 worth of that beer back. Like, I'll cover you for a good $10 if I'm in a good mood. But $46 worth of beer that I'm not drinking, I'm not paying for that shit. And if this is how white women are treating y'all, go. Be well, enjoy. Send me a text and let me know how life is in the snow. Out in the parking lot, the white chick and the blonde Asian approached Lawrence. I didn't realize until that moment just how awkward he is. You and Issa, y'all were two awkward peas in a pod. After some hemming and hawing, he finally decides to go back to the house. Lawrence is texting his boy. I'm like, one chick is rolling weed. There's a ton of beer because they bought it for you. And you sitting on the phone texting your homeboy? The girl starts dancing in front of Lawrence. He leans back instead of leaning in. I'm like, the woman's shaking her ass in your face. My dude, you're supposed to grab it. So she finally comes over, flops on him to start making out. It hits Siri on his phone. Dude, you killing any kind of possible mood. For your sake, these women are actually really interested in sex. One of the girls is kissing Lawrence. The other girl comes over. Flash forward a couple scenes. They're all naked in bed. One girl is riding Lawrence's penis. The other girl is riding Lawrence's face. You're just eating random, my dude. I am befuddled. I am shocked. I'm confused. I am baffled. I'm speechless. The girl, Lawrence is giving it to her good. She's like, I'm coming. And then Lawrence is like, oh, like, I'm like, sir, you're not done, because there are two women. If there are three people, then all of them need to be pleasured. You can't finish with one and then not please the other one. I was baffled that he came. And then the other girl hops on top, and I'm like, did you not expect it to be soft? And was there a condom change? I just feel that scene confused the hell out of me. Lawrence can't get it back up. And then they're like, well, you know, we've been with plenty of black guys. Like, you know, this has never been a problem before. Y'all are hunters. Like, Lawrence thought he was special. Like, the girls really thought he was just cute, like, on his own. No, you're just a black guy with a black dick, and they wanted to, and they're just blown. They're done. They're like, all right, whatever. They start making plans to go out to eat, to go to another party. They start comparing him to other dudes. They've completely forgotten that Lawrence is in the room. Like, ooh, LaMarcus, which is the blackest name ever. You will never meet a white person named LaMarcus. Totally eviscerating Lawrence's ego. He just looks broken. I actually felt bad for him. The next scene with Lawrence, he's sitting in his car, and the camera zooms out, and you see that he's sitting outside of the building he used to live in with Issa. It would have been helpful if Lawrence had picked up the phone and called Issa. I wonder if she would have answered if Lawrence called when she was sitting there with Daniel. I don't know. And we'll never know, because Lawrence didn't call. He just drove off. Womp womp. So, that is my recap of the latest episode of Insecure. Please hit the subscribe button if you like the recap. Let me know what you thought of the episode. Let me know what you thought of the recap. And tune in next week, because I'll be recapping episode 5 of Insecure. Thanks for watching.